Hello, good evening. How's everyone doing? Thank you so much. So many people. Thanks for the likes as well. I appreciate everybody. Hello, good evening. How's everyone doing? There's my echo. Let's stop that. There we go. All right. Everyone seems surprisingly cheerful, despite the fact we've turned lower again in Bitcoin today. So, when we looked at Bitcoin last week, we said, and where were we last week? So we need to go 7 candles back. We were kind of here, weren't we? 18th of March. And we said, you know, this is a kind of decision point, really. If this is just, if this was a new wave 1, 2, and this is a wave 1 of 3, we needed to see some really strong moves to the upside and new highs if we were going to get going. And what happened was, you know, we had a couple more inside days, then we had a double top. And whenever you see a double top, you know, that's a warning. Whenever you fail to make a new high, that's a warning that things are not going your way. In fact, what we did was we made a slightly higher high and then a huge bearish engulfing reversal. And now we're continuing lower. We've properly rolled over. So we call this a swing failure pattern. When you make a high and then you make a marginal new high and you can't stay and close at new highs, that's a bearish reversal pattern, a swing failure, and pretty bad news because we've run all the stops above the highs. So I can draw this as, if you like, if we go down to a 4-hour chart or an hourly chart in Bitcoin, we kind of need to look at where are we going to next. Now, if we draw this as a channel, so here's our double top, don't need that anymore. We'll hide these moving averages for a second. Okay, so if we connect the highs on the upside, this blue line says we've already broken down. If we instead draw these highs on the upside like this, then potentially, and we make a parallel channel on the bottom, then potentially we're testing the lows right here, but it's looking like we're going to head lower, doesn't it? So because of this double top, when you have a double top, when you break the pivot level, in the middle you go twice the distance. So we might have reached that level already. Not quite. 38.43 is the double top target. And if we do some measured move stuff, so if we say this is our first swing lower, this is our second swing lower, then 38.16. So somewhere between 38.16 and 38.40 is starting to look like the next support. The previous lows also come in. If we line them up and we catch most of them around this level as well, 38, you know, 38 to 38.16, that's around that level too. So that's some confluence for the next place where we might bounce from. And let's do one other thing. We'll do some fib retrace levels because that's always a good helpful sign. We'll look for where our 50% comes in, and that comes in at 38.70. So let's do this the other way as well. Okay, we're underneath it. So okay, so if we look up here as well, whenever you reverse at a 786 fib, which we did in Bitcoin at these highs. So if I draw my fib retrace from this high to this low, I'm going to mark it. So from this high to this low, we almost at the 786, target would be 382. If you reverse it at 618, the target's always back to the 382. So that's another vote for the low 38.70s. But I think bigger picture, we're in a bigger wedge. And if that's the case, this is our first swing lower, our ABC bounce, and we're going to see another bigger leg lower. So we should make our targets a little bit bigger. Okay, and that means 61.8 of this first leg would be 37.43 and then 35.40. 35.40 looks more likely, that's down here, because it would then be the bottom of this wedge and third touch of the trend line. So 35.40, big swing target. Then one of a couple of things will happen here, because so yeah, like 35.40. So third touches of trend lines are very often false breaks. okay, and then you trade them to stay initially within the trend line. So you trade them to bounce from the trend line. They're probably one of the scalpers' favorite setups. The reason that they're very often false breaks is because everyone can see this trend line support, and so there are stops underneath it, and that's the only reason why they just tend to work like that. So I expect it initially to bounce from here, and if this is then a big Elliott wave triangle, this is an A. What we would then see is a five wave like this. So this would be then A, B, C. We'd be looking for D, then an E leg up here before we do our final swing lower. So that would be like endless, wouldn't it? Okay, the alternative is that this is not a triangle, that this is just a simple A, B, C correction, where in this case, this second swing was 78.6 of this first swing, and then we're going to continue, go straight down to new lows. And so we break this support and then down we go. So we'll bounce initially and then we'll can carry on, and then, we'll retest 3,000 or potentially 2,400. This sideways, I agree with you, this sideways price action is very difficult. These moving averages do help you in sideways price action, but not, not quite when you have a sideways range and flat moving averages, which we've got here, then, you have to trade it as a range. You buy the bottom and you sell the top until you get a breakout. And we've got a pretty good clear range now here in Bitcoin. So somebody said to me, take a look at the stochastic and RSI on the weekly in this one. So if we take a look at the stochastic and then RSI on the weekly, I can see what you mean. We are, in fact, let's move my CCI out of the way. It does look like we're rolling over, and yes, it does on the weekly in Bitcoin. So another swing lower potentially. This is Binance chart, so we don't have all the history we need. And tic-tac, I agree with you. A good old dump would be great. So here we are stuck. Potentially it's a triangle. Potentially we've completed an ABC, and we'll see at least marginal new lows or a retest of the lows. So that's a Bitcoin. Bit bearish, unfortunately. Same here in ETH going on. This is a 4-hour chart of Ethereum. We're either in the same pattern where we've gone A, B, C up, and now we're going to just roll lower from here. Sorry, I thought I'd turn that. We're just going to roll lower from here. Or if I widen this out and we do the same thing, an A, B, C correction from this high, then we come down to around here, 96.50, which is where we'll have a parallel channel if I draw this correctly, like this. So looking pretty bearish, unfortunately, for Ethereum as well, with this bear fag look. Now clearly this might be support, this could be support in Ethereum every time, in Bitcoin as well. Every time it looks like it's going to go lower, it seems to catch a bid and bounce, but I think tonight it's starting to look like it's tipping over. We've reached a bit of a tipping point, so that's how I'm seeing it. So that means that Litecoin, that we had at this, we've got Litecoin going sideways at a big 236 fib level at $60. I think that means that this sideways consolidation will likely, if everything heads lower, break lower, and we'll see a bigger pullback to test support in Litecoin before we go higher again. First fib level in Litecoin dollar we'd be looking for is 52.89, and these previous lows and highs here, 52.89, and potentially back to 50, the round number 50. Litecoin really likes round numbers. So $50. If we take a look at Litecoin against Bitcoin, same sideways pattern. In fact, in this one, we're just underneath this 50% retrace of the high that we made in February a year ago to the low that we made in December. So I can see if Bitcoin has a bit of a proper drop, that we might just squeak one little bit higher here in Litecoin against Bitcoin to $50. But against, when you look at Litecoin against dollar, you probably wouldn't want to be in Litecoin because you're still losing money against, you know, US dollars. So that's how I see those three big majors. So last week, our top three, what was our top three picks were ADA, which we'll look at in a minute. Now, obviously, ADA had a storming week. So if we look at where we went, let's see where we went. So our pick last week was ADA on the 18th. So yeah, we've had a pretty nice rally from around 1200, haven't we? This was our target at 1623. A little bit disappointed because this target, did we tag it 1623? The high was 1615. I hate it when that happens and we just 1615. That's like $7 short of the target, seven sats short of the target. And we've rolled over. So ABC correction, I think we're looking for a bigger pullback in ADA at the moment, back to the 200 moving average. But that was a big winner. Bitcoin Cash ABC was the other pick last week. This is one as well. Had a lovely run, but you know, it hasn't failed, but it's starting to look a little bit toppy. I'm going to say in this one, 153, Bitcoin Cash ABC, that one will drop. And the other one that we had as a pick last week was Vibe. And we said Vibe was a buy if we broke above 1187, and we didn't break out, so no trade in Vibe. So a bit of a mixed bag. So this week, my favourite picks, the three that I'm picking are Dash. First of all, we're going to look at Dash. And Dash is not just a blind. Dash is another one of an if. See how we're consolidating underneath the 200-day moving average in Dash at these previous highs? I really like Dash to break out from this consolidation. This is Dash Bitcoin. We can look at this 4-hour consolidation like this. Okay, so if we get a swing higher in this one, I like Dash above 23,259 and the target is 26,200. At the moment, it's not playing, is it? So I'm going to put an alert on here. This is how I'm going to trade it. And if Dash breaks higher from this consolidation, or again, breaks above 23,000, target is going to be 26,200. So if we keep an eye on this on the daily, I'm just basically looking to see if Dash can break above this 200-day moving average and reverse the trend. Pretty much not that much looks great. Everything is pulling back with Bitcoin. Another one that I like is NAV coin. Very similar pattern here. But in NAV coin, we've broken above the 200-day moving average. And we're consolidating sideways above it. See how we're holding above? I really like Litecoin to turn up. All my oscillators say we're about to turn up higher from here. Green day for NAV today against Bitcoin. So I'm looking for NAV to retest resistance at 568. And then target is 682. And my stop is underneath at 456. So I like NAV coin. This is my pick. And the other pick that I like is GNT, which is Golem. Another one, consolidating sideways. See this bull flag at the 200-day moving average. But the last times, and literally for 2 weeks, we've been here sideways. Haven't been able to close above this 200 moving average for a day. And today, it looks like we're going to do it. So the support, or where we're wrong, in Golem is at 2030. So 2030. That's our support. If we close back below 2030, we're wrong to be bullish of Golem, GNT. And I'm looking for my target, which is these previous highs in Golem, up here at 2950. So 2950 in Golem, and wrong if we go back really below 2000. So those are my picks for this week. I think that they're set up pretty nicely to rally. Okay. Sorry, my mouth is dry. Hold on. Okay, so now let's go back to ADA. So ADA hit our target, but failed by like a couple of sat. That is really so frustrating when that happens. I am thinking that we see a bigger pullback now to test support. One of the first main reasons I think that we see that is we flipped our hourly moving averages. We're in a downtrend. I think we're headed back to around 1350. If we were going to keep trending higher, in other words, if we were going to stay in uptrend, we would have held 236 fib back of this most recent swing. That's where the low was yesterday. We tried to hold it. It didn't work. So I'm now looking at 50% back of this swing. So back to these highs. So 1338 to 1350 zone, I think, is where we'll find support. And a bigger pullback than probably most people are expecting in ADA. The next one we're going to take a look at got a little bit out of order here, 1 second, is Ripple, and then Neo, and then Verge. So Ripple, everybody loves Ripple. Nothing much really in the mood music has changed from Ripple, has it? It was still pretty bearish. Again, Ripple against Tether, no breakout, no room higher, no move higher. We can take these away. And we're still in our sideways range. So this is the top of our range. Here are our completely flat moving averages, so nothing doing here. And here's the bottom of our range. That's where we're headed back to retest. So time to keep our powder dry in Ripple and wait for a retest of probably around 0.28 in Ripple Tether. And see what happens and if the buyers step up there. If we don't hold these lows, then we're going to do a full retest of the big lows at 24.67. If we take a look at Ripple Bitcoin, it's a little bit easier to see where the targets are in this one, to be honest. And because this one is quite simple. Okay, so from this huge rally that we had, we're in a big ABC correction, I think. If this was our first leg lower here, we're looking for the second swing to be 61.8 of the first swing, which means 72.16. Haven't quite got there yet. Still waiting for this endless correction. We were holding this 50% retrace level. We've lost it, so it's slow, but I think put Ripple on the back burner and wait. And when we get down to around 7,200, we'll see a turn. Crypto's going down. The UK's in a mess. Oh, trust me, if that was only all it was. Now, you know, before we get too gloomy about this chart, there really, and let me tidy up a little bit here and I'll show you what I mean. There really is potential for this one to, if we, you know, we can see very clearly where this midpoint and resistance level is in Ripple and where we've gotten rejected. You know, it makes us a very good target for any reversals or bullish reversals. We can very easily say that this second leg, which is very common in corrections, you see the first leg is an ABC and then the second leg is a declining wedge. So if this is a declining wedge here, that's nice and easy because we can put a trend line on the highs, we can put an alert on it, and then when we break out, that's going to be our sign. Really, you don't need to mark any levels. That's going to be a sign that we've reversed it and we're breaking to the upside. So I'm going to put my alert on that trend line like that for Ripple Bitcoin. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is Neo and then Verge. Excuse me 1 second. Thanks. Here we go. Okay, Neo. I'm not sure who asked for Neo. But this is looking a little bit bear flaggy to me. This is 4-hour chart of a bit of NEO. We've been going sideways at the 200-day moving average. I've been really hopeful that NEO could break higher from here, but it's really struggled. It's really struggled. And I think it's starting to look more likely that we could break down. If we say this was a big corrective ABC swing higher, this would be our first leg lower, our B leg, and we're looking for a C leg and one more push lower. Thank you. So where would that take us back to in NEO in this correction? 21.41, and we retest the lows, and potentially 19.72 in these lows down here. Those would be our two support levels in NEO Bitcoin. So watching for a breakdown in this one. This first leg, I like this one because this would be kind of back to the 50% level, 21.35. So watch for a retest of support at 21.35. If that breaks down, 19.72 is where I see NEO Bitcoin in this pullback. Do you know, a lot of people say, oh, is it worth, should I be shorting these alts at these levels? You know, when you look at this chart and we zoom out, okay, and you look at where we are, really, at this point, you know, when these coins are 80 or 90% down, selling them short isn't really, you know, the biggest risk reward trade, is it? Waiting for them to find a bottom and buying the dip, I think, is where the better risk reward is for these. So that's NEO. The next one we're going to look at is Verge, XVG. ION's breaking my heart today, that one. I thought that was really all set to go higher, and it's really struggling. Everything is struggling and testing back to support. I don't see, honestly, any edge in Verge Bitcoin when I look at it. I thought I had it all counted. I thought, okay, A, B, C up, and we'll have, you know, A, B, C, and then we were going to be in a new leg lower. And so I'm kind of leaning bearish, especially after this rejection at the daily 200 moving average. But when I put the correction and measure the swings going the other way, you know, we're still looking there. So I'm going to say 144. So we're going to look for A, B, C back to 144 if we break down here in Verge Bitcoin, which it does look like we could do. We're right on the breakdown level. Initially, third touch will probably bounce, but when and if we do break underneath 165, 144 is the support level I'd be looking for XVG. Next is NXT. Gosh, most charts are headed lower, aren't they? NXT is a little ray of sunshine, though. This one is doing all right. 5 waves up, so that's always a good look. Okay, we're having a little bit of a pullback today, and looks like we made a false break to new highs. So before I get excited about 5 waves up, let's measure from this low to high and see where we stopped. So that's good news because it's not an equal measured move, so we shouldn't be too bearish yet. But if we draw this as a wedge, and you can see it better on a 4-hour, this is starting to look like a false breakout or a swing failure pattern. And so we could see some downside momentum in this wedge the other way. There's our false breakout. And here's our reversal. So it may be that the rally is over for a little bit in next NXT. If we go back to these daily moving averages, we've got a bullish cross. So we've got pretty good support. It just means we stay, I think, in a sideways range while Bitcoin corrects. Now I'm just going to zoom all the way out. We'll take these away for a second. And I'm going to put fib retrace levels on this most recent swing lower. So our first target, if we can get a turnaround, is in other words, if we can break out again after this knockback, if you like, on the daily here, is our first target would be the 200 moving average, and these prior highs at 828, and then 1080, these big highs, is the first 236 fib retrace level that I'd be looking for. So that's NXT. The next one we're going to look at is NULS, NULS. Let's see where NULS is. So I'm not sure who requested NULS. I'm going to start with the weekly chart of NULS. We're going to take a look at this big picture view. So when I put the fib retrace on from this low to this high, we took, well, months really, to make a base here at this 886 fib retrace level, 10,870, 10,869. So that's our base on this weekly chart. And when you make a base at a fib level, to confirm the reversal, you have to close above the next fib level down, because it's like a staircase, isn't it? So as you go down each of the levels. So back above 16,844 for me would have confirmed the reversal. When we tried this in NULS, we tried it on the 9th of March, and that was the high to the tick. Then we had another go this last week, and we've had two false breakouts above this level, and we haven't been able to close above it. So I'm going to say, and you can see now if we zoom out, what a cool and important support and resistance level this is in NULS. So we're really not going up unless we can close and hold above 16,844, as in a daily close above it, and then find support from this level. When we do, happy days, you know, 26,883 would be our next target, and these highs up here. But for now, we're in our sideways zone, holding above. So our support comes in from these daily moving averages and these prior highs, but we're in a pullback to test support. So time to tighten up your stop, depending on whether you bought it. Is it a good time to buy it? Not quite right now, no. So let's measure fib levels from these lows. Here's the level that I'm going to look for. 50% of the entire rally, and these prior highs at 14,510. See these highs as well, 14,510. That's going to be where I'm going to be looking for NULS to find support and turn and have another go at going higher. Hello, Kazee. I'll look at ICON at the end. I will. ICON cross on the weekly. Listen, we did look at ICON last week. I will look at it again. Can you short on Binance now? No, I don't think you can. No, night dark mode. Do you think that the black charts are easier to see on people's telephones, Bitcoin Boogie? I'm not sure. We could try that one week and people can say if they think it's better. I could switch them all to dark mode another time. Not the same Verge that had a 50% attack. Okay. Okay, so we've done NULS. The next one then is CND and then Decred. So CND's been a favourite of mine for a while, a syndicator. We did look at this chart last week because we wanted to see if we're going to break out. We've got this channel going on. So we have this lovely rally, ABC pullback, and we want to see if we're going to break higher and get our next swing higher going on. And there's been a proper bull-bear fight at this trend line, if you like, breakout level. It's a parallel channel, and I don't know at the moment that we've broken out, you know. This morning, I thought we were breaking out. When I looked at this, it looked like we were going to fly. And we went, you know, we've got this smaller consolidation going on within a bigger channel, haven't we? Here. And I thought, oh, we've taken it out, we're on our way up, you know. But this is why you always have to wait for the retest, because on a 15-minute, you know, we would have seen that and then we would have carried on higher. But it wasn't. It was just it ran the buy stops and then came all the way back again. So if this was a false breakout, then we should see a real breakout the other way. If it was just trying to trigger some momentum because nobody knows which way we're going, then we'll stay in this sideways range until we get a breakout. So waiting. I do like syndicator to go higher, but it needs to break out. And it really does kind of need to break out above 413, or, you know, a close above 410 would get us out of this channel and then up. And yeah, this is what I mean. I watch them on a 15-minute. So when I get a breakout like this and the alarm goes off, okay, I watch it to break out, come back, and then sometimes it's 3 ways back. And then if we get this, that's your long, but didn't happen. Okay, so that's CND. So we're going to retest 460, and then 625 would be the second target for CND. If we can break out of trouble. So the next one is DECRED, DCR. I'm not sure who asked for this coin. Clearly, but this is like this a monster coil up consolidation range. So here's our highs. Now, I'm not going to draw a trend line from there. I'm going to say that, you know, potentially we risk a horizontal support, but let's measure the legs and see. Because this actually, where we are now, is the 618 level that we're going sideways at. So potentially we should be looking for a breakout and a run higher from here. When you're in a downtrend, the 20 moving average is like your best friend. It tells you which way you're going. Okay, so when you're underneath or get rejected at the 20, you're still going down. We got rejected in July last year. This is a weekly. We got rejected in October. We got rejected at the beginning of this month, and then the last 2 weeks it's been the high. So that's what we need to get above if we're going to break higher. So that level is 500,000. On the daily, here we've got our 200 moving average there. So all of the resistance is lining up in DECRED. Can I look at DBC? Okay. I'll try and do DBC and ICX are the ones we'll add on the end. Okay, so at the moment, sideways at this level, I really do think that we can afford to wait for a close and hold above this 200 moving average. How am I going to mark this? Right, in DECRED. Well, first off, I'm going to put an alert at the price level or just underneath it. Okay, so I'm going to put my alert here. So when it tells me that it's pumping, or the next time, here's my price level. When the next time I see that DECRED is pumping, because it does look like we're turning up higher, I'm going to watch this on an hourly chart and make sure that we get above that level and we hold above that level. See how we haven't managed to close above it? 520,000. Until then, I really think I'm going to leave DECRED on the back burner. But if we do get above that 200 moving average and that weekly 20, we should fly. But until then, just, yeah, neutral. Big fat neutral for DECRED, sorry. ONT is next. Okay, here's our ONT. Now let's tidy up everything here. See what's going on. My first target for Ontology was this 236 fib level, and these previous highs were a little bit higher. So although we're pulling back, in Ontology, we're in a pretty solid daily uptrend, and we should be looking for pullback levels and for this trend really to continue. So I think that this is probably a wave 1, a wave 2, this was a wave 3, 4, and we're in final wave 5, and this looks like, so I'm going to take this swing here, which was the last time that we tagged the 20 moving average on the daily, and I'm going to say these previous highs and 28.89 is where I would like to see kind of support come in. 28.89 or a little bit lower around here. Maybe we'll do 50% from this swing, and I'm going to say, and I'm going to move it down to here and say I'm wrong kind of below 27.98. So this gives me a zone of where I'm looking to get back in again with Ontology in this pullback. Any more than this, and it's not a pullback, it's a reversal. Hi, Kathleen. I'll look at Raven. I'll try and do Raven. Raven doesn't look too bad. Hoping for some good news for IOST. You're watching this video underwater with your goggles on. No money, no honey. And AION. Yeah. AION. And I'm not sure if I've got even IOST on the list. IOST. We'll add it. All right then. So that's Ontology. We will stay in an uptrend if we find support around there. If we come back much more than that, we're in a bit of trouble and we need to bail. Okay. Let's take a look at Monetha, MTH. Here's the daily chart of Monetha. I had a bit of an alarm on there. I'm going to take it off. So Monetha is trying to get close. I'm going to put regular candles on and not Heikin-Ashi, because we're doing this horrible sideways dance around this 200-day moving average and really trying to get above it. This was, I thought, oh, this is like a wedge or a triangle. This would be perfect. If we break out from here, you know, it all looks, and of course it hasn't. It's come all the way back again, and back underneath as well, the 200 moving average. So it's a bit like a, no, not quite a breakout yet. Fat third touch, false breakout. So we're still in our sideways triangular range in Monetha. If we can get back above these highs again, so if we get back above 505, we'll probably have another try. With a false breakout, you come back, you test support. If you like that support, you'll have another go. If it all goes to hell, we'll go back to the bottom rail. So still in a sideways range, but I am watching for a reversal. I think we're due a swing higher. This was our first strong swing higher. We've done our correction, and it's time really for Monetha. But you know, we're going back and forward through these moving averages like they're not there at the moment. So when I do that, I tend to rely on fib levels. So if we take this most recent swing lower in Monetha, we can, and we take this trend line away that we're not sure about, we've got to go more than 50% of the drop. And so that's our horizontal level where we can be absolutely sure that we've reversed. So I closed above 531, says we're going up, and we've gone more than 50% up in Monetha. Next one we're going to look at is IOST. We have got IOST. Cool. This one today. Okay, when we take a look at this daily look here, and we put regular candles on, okay, so we're underneath this resistance, and I think that this is a pretty nice inverted head and shoulders pattern. This is our resistance. I was looking for this 20 moving average to be support today, and we turn up higher again. Look at this volume. People are buying IOST. So it's time for us to turn around and get up. Now, I drew the pullback consolidation like this, and I'm looking for a breakout of this wedge. It just hasn't happened yet, unfortunately. I've got an alarm on it. We ran all the way up off this 200. We had a look. Oh, this is an hourly chart. We've come all the way back. So I'm looking for a breakout. I'm going to say that above 215 for me, we're going to retest the resistance, which is at 230. And then my first target is 283 for IOST. But we haven't broken out yet, unfortunately. So very frustrating. Still looks good, but not done it yet. Now, I'm going to give up on IOST breaking out. So on this hourly, we're going to do this thing, and we normally expect support somewhere between the 50 and the 61.8, and that was the low earlier. So if we make a new low underneath 203 and we lose this support of the hourly 200 moving average, I'm going to give up, and we're in a bigger wedge, and I'm going to wait in IOST. But that's what I would be looking for. Okay. I'm just going to have a drink of water, sorry. Link's one of those ones that I keep thinking, gosh, it's your turn, when are you going to go, you know? But let me have a quick peek. Yeah, we'll come back to Link. Yeah, there it is. Okay, we'll come back to Link. I'm just going to go through the list, because otherwise people that come and look at the video later, they get all bent out of shape. Okay, next one is NMR, which I think is numeraire, isn't it? NMR, I think it is, yeah. Numeraire. I don't know very much about this coin, but from my days of trading penny shares, which behave very much like cryptocurrencies, when I am trading a market that's at new highs and levels it hasn't been before, I use fib projections from corrective swings to project where the support and resistance is going to be. And if we take this first swing lower in numeraire from here, you can see that each one of the fib projection levels has worked really well as either support or resistance. 113 was resistance, 1272 was support and resistance, 1.618 was a big level that gave us a pullback, and now here up here we hit the 2.618, and so we're in a pullback from this 2.618 level. Clearly, for me, I think we might see a reaction at 3.618, but the big deal level next, if this trend continues higher, is the 4.236, and we're going to ride this trend until it stops. And that's at 345,936. You can see it there. But are we ready yet? When I look at this daily CCI, we're not ready yet. When I look at, say, an RSI and see where we are on the daily, you know, look how we are. We could, you know, we're overbought, but that doesn't mean that we can't keep going higher. But the sign that we're going higher is a close above 222,968. And for the moment, that's resistance. It was resistance today. So I think more likely in this one, we've got a double top, so we're going to look for back to the bottom of the range. And that's back to 176,950. Look at this stuff. Whenever you see a double top, that's your warning to get out. Okay, and that's what we've got at this level. And you know, if you really like, if it upsets you or you're worried you'll miss out, put an order just above it. You can put a buy order above 228,200, no problem. And then if it takes off in the night when you're asleep, you won't miss out. You'll get back in again. But that's how I would do numeraire. Above 222,968, we're looking for 345,936 next. But otherwise, expect a bigger pullback here just like the last one. Broccoli Face says, Nick, what do I think of crypto culture like on Twitter? Memes, etc., compared to the traditional trading circles. Is it fun or childish or just the same as other markets? Do you know, it really doesn't help, because for the people like me who came from a traditional finance background, it's really hard to join in with, you know, people already think that you've lost your mind because you're trading crypto. And then if you start joining in with the memes as well, people think, you know, you're a complete loser. And so it is looked down on, but I think it's quite fun. And this has been a really long, brutal bear market. I kind of really like how people have kind of cheered people along, you know, because within this bear market, there has been rallies that you can trade. It has been really good for honing our skills, you know, I think, as traders. So yeah, you know, they just really pass the time, don't they? Okay, that was Nimura. We're going to move on to Poly, POA, and data. So Poly is next. That's weird. Should be here, but let's do it. Poly. This chart is fierce. I'm going to ignore the spike in Poly here for a second and measure kind of where we got to. Okay. If we're going to see if we're, I think that this is just a pause for Poly, and we should carry on higher from here. I'm going to draw in the fib levels for a second without the spike and see, and then see if they work, and if they don't, I'll put the spike back in. Okay, I think I'm going to put the spike back in. It's annoying. So here we are. Okay, from this, we've drawn a fib retrace from this high up here to this low down here. So like this, the whole thing, including the spike. So this most recent swing lower. And we've stalled at a 61.8 level. When you stall at a 618 level, very often you come all the way back to the 382, which would mean all the way down here. And the deciding factor about whether you're going to go down there or not, or the interim support level, if you like, is the 50% level. And that's what we're sitting on. So this is called the golden ratio zone, when you bounce around in between the 618 and the 382, and it's where the market kind of tries to find support. So potentially, if we're going to keep trending higher, 29.76 should hold on the daily as support. So far here on the hourly, it's holding pretty nicely as support. So I'm going to look for a bounce from here, and we'll see what happens. If we make a double top or a lower high, we're probably going to come back and test this 50%, and if it breaks, then we're going to go back down to the bottom of this range. If it doesn't and it holds, and if we push more than 50%, it looks quite likely that we'll keep going. And then, you know, fib levels are like staircases. This was our reaction at the 618, then the next one, or our next upside target, will be these highs and 4391. So that's how I see Polymath. Very good support. Watching for a bullish reversal. Back above 3559, targets 4391 next. Next one is POA. Do you know, the long target on this one, when we broke above here, this was our target. It was always going to be our target. And so this has hit target and come all the way back. Sometimes, you know, when you can see a really obvious target like this, this previous double top here, the 200-day moving average, you really have to especially if you can't watch the market all day, you really have to leave an order to close some of your position there, because this one has gone all the way up there and all the way back again. So still in a sideways range. This is the top of our range, this is the bottom of our range. And until we can break out, not much to do. One good thing about ranges, sideways range, and so whether you make a rectangle or an inverted head and shoulders pattern or a cup and a handle or whatever, the target's always the same. So if we break out of this sideways range where we've got a double bottom and a triple top, we go twice the distance. So a breakout above these highs at 1,015 gives us a target of 1359. We'll have some interim resistance here in the middle, obviously, especially from these prior highs, but that's how it'll work. So we will then go sort of 50% of the drop, but still sideways, unfortunately. How are you going to trade this? God, you got to look. And we're back in the middle. Yeah, I would let this one calm down, I think. Probably let this one calm down and wait for the next turn higher. For me, when it's not clear or I can't see the level, because I think this should be a good level in the middle around 815, but I'm not sure. So on the CCI, you know, when it crosses back 3.0, that's huge for me. And I've got one with a histogram on, but it can be a plain one. That's usually for me a sign that we're in the next upswing, and I'll look at it then. But for now, I'll let it come all the way back. So nothing doing in POA. Data was requested. This is a coin I haven't looked at very much, I'm going to admit. But let's take a look. That's weird. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Data. Here we go. God, losing my marbles. So here's another one. Very frustrating. A very nasty pump and dump day in data coin. All the way up, 382 fib. These prior highs here is where we got to. And then profit taking saw us come all the way back again. I was going to say in this one, you know, the 236 fib, if we can, there's like my bull bear line from in terms of fib retraces. If you can hold above it, you're usually going higher and usually to the 50%. In this case, though, we've come all the way back and underneath, and now we're testing support all the way down here. So let's see where that's going to be, because this was a pretty good wedge breakout, really, wasn't it? Like this. So I think as long as we hold above it, this could be, I know it's a bit laughable after what we've done, but this could be a pullback long against this 200-day moving average, which is just a bit lower, around 520. So yeah, need to let it calm down, come all the way back and build up a base before it turns higher again. And 520 potentially good support, but data, it's not any, it's just a pump and a dump at the moment. Not a new uptrend yet, and not, you know, clear sign to me yet that we're going to do any more than that. Here's Everex. Now this is a completely different picture. This one's really holding up and not coming back. Let's chuck some volume on. Hold on, let's look at. Yeah, let me look at the volume in this. So clearly, these highs up here are where we're coming back to, somewhere around 47,700. I don't like, it's too high to run a fib from those highs. So instead, we're going to do it like this. Okay. Now, at the moment, we've stalled at the 50% from this big swing, And if I put this one on as well, hopefully. Yikes, 50% from this one. That's a little bit annoying because very often when you stall at a 50% like this, if we then drop underneath the 382, which is here, we will come back 50% the other way. So 50% the other way would mean this. So this is our support right where we are now, down to around 16,000. Let me see now. Sorry, down to around 19,000. And if we go below 19,000, we'll pull back 50%, which brings us all the way back to 14,760 in this prior high area. So let's see. EVX. Massive volume. Watch out if we make new lows in EVX and wait for a bigger pullback. Otherwise, I think it looks very good to continue higher. Just that 50% tricky level. So when you get this nice of a reaction at fib levels, it's, you know, very cool to treat them like a staircase. So we say we get above this level, we're looking for 30,681, and then 786, and then we'll put in our 886 and so on. So I need a pullback in this one and turn higher from here soon. RDN, RAIDEN. This, you know, when it's done this already, if you can't chase it, it's gone without you. So find the next one that's about to explode. That's the way. Okay, so NAS and then YOYO. Here's Nebulas. I love this chart. I don't know who asked for this one, but good eye, whoever did. So I love it because we made a really seriously good base from December. We went sideways for a very long time and built up support in this one. We can take our level, our bull bear line from this low here, and here you can see inverted head and shoulders at this resistance level. Once we broke above it, we're flying. And not only that, we broke above the 200 moving average and we're holding above it. So lots to like about this, lots to like. So this is another good example of 50% one way. So if I take these choppy overlapping, this was a 50%. We came all the way back to 50% here. And now I think we're in our next swing higher in Nebulas. There's like lots not to like in this one. Except, let's go down to a 4-hour. It's starting to look a little bit like Bitcoin. In other words, this was a first swing lower. This was a big A, B, C rally. And we need another swing lower before we bottom again. So if that's the case, measure from this high to this low. We're looking for the 618 and a retest of these lows. And that says back to 1972 if we roll over here. Yay. I guess if everything's going down, that's what we'll see. So Nebulas, support is at 1972. If that doesn't hold, that's where you bail. If you're a long-term holder, really, you know, short-term today, if you look at it on a 4-hour and hourly, as soon as you see, just like Bitcoin, as soon as you see a double top like this, that's your sign to tighten up your stop. You put it underneath the thing in the middle. That's a double top reversal once the center breaks. So in another leg lower, a 1972 support for Nebulas. So potentially. And then YOYO. YOYO is so spiky. but and certainly a spiky day today. A doji. So this is one. This is another one where really we should say it was a false break higher. Here, when we had this really nasty, almost went to zero, false break lower, we saw follow through to the outside. That's what you're supposed to see. Today, we've had a false break higher, gone all the way back and come back to the starting price. That means we will probably see, unfortunately, follow through lower, and that would mean back to this 250 moving average and probably a little bit lower from here. It's not a buy based on this daily candles and behavior at the moment. So let's see. I'm going to draw in our trend line. I'm eventually expecting this to go higher, but it's just taking its sweet time. Now, let's draw it from there, somewhere like this. You know, these bunched up moving averages and this trend line support, I think down here around 437 is where I would look for it to see if we can find support and turn higher. Until then, I wouldn't probably be in it. Now, bigger picture, you know, this is looking like it's trying to make a pretty good rounding bottom. Okay, if this was our first swing higher, ABC, ABC down, we're looking for our final leg up, which is taking its sweet time. And, you know, the 618 was a little bit higher above here around 655. And our big ABC target is all the way up here. So I'm not super bearish. I'm not expecting a collapse in Yao. Just if everything is going to have a little dip lower, I think Yao looks like it wants to go with it. Okay, so that's all those. So let's take a few more and look at the requests. So we're going to start with RAVEN, and then we'll do a ION, and then ICX, unless the Daleks has got another way around. And we won't forget Link. I won't forget ICX. No. Okay, so we've got RAVEN, Link, ICX, AION, DBC to look at, and I won't forget. Have I forgotten RAIDEN? I have forgotten RAIDEN, RDN. My apologies. Let me go back and I'll do RAIDEN, and then we're going to do them. RAIDEN and then RAVEN. That's what I should have done. I did forget RAIDEN. Here it is. Okay, so this big picture, I like this as a sideways range. And what I like about this one is I'm going to take everything off. Okay, we should have reached this 236 fib. Instead, we did a really deep retrace. But look, in RAIDEN, if we do a big ABC rally from here, this next leg should take us to that 236 target. So if we buy dips in RAIDEN, our target's 1310. Sorry, 11,310. This is our target. At the moment, it's really choppy. I'm staying bullish at the moment because when I look at this, we have a strong up move and a choppy overlapping pullback. As soon as that changes or we take out a low, then obviously we've got a reversal going on in RAIDEN. And what concerns me at the moment, the reason I had the fibs on, okay, is we've stopped at a 618, and we stopped here at the 618 level, here and here. Reversals at a 618 come back to the 382. So here's the bottom of our range. This is a golden ratio range, isn't it? And the top of our range up here. So that's where we're at. So I think we pull back in RAIDEN to 7271. That's where our support is. And we should, if everything's working, turn higher from here. And I've still got that big target up there at 11,310. But back to retest support in this one. Put the moving averages back on, even though we're all a bit sideways and bunching up. When you bunch up the moving averages, you usually get a big breakout. Okay, so from RAIDEN to RAVEN, and then we'll... This Haven had a really nice move today. Okay, so we have stopped here in Raven at a bit of a resistance level, but I don't think it's the final high. I'm going to put my fibs on this way. The problem is it's the 1.618 from this corrective swing. So we are going to see, I think, potentially a sizable pullback here. I'm going to leave the 1272 and take all of these other levels off so we can see what we're looking at. Okay, so here it is. We've paused at this 1.618 fib level. Our support then, because remember they're like a staircase, is here at 1253, and then I don't see, when I measure these swings, any reason for Raven coin to reverse the trend and head lower. I think in fact that we continue higher, and for me the next target is 2284. So I'm short-term bearish back to 1253 in Raven. So if we look at this here on an hourly, we can say that this was our first swing lower here, and here's our A, B, C rally up. Now we're going to look for one more rally lower, and you can see that takes us an equal measured move to this level as well. So 1253 is where we're looking for support to buy Raven coin again. If we break down here, and I think I have to say I think it's quite likely we will. Okay. So, great level to buy it at Raven. So we're going to look at ICX, and I mustn't forget Link as well, yeah, and Skycoin. Okay. Gosh, I thought I had Sky. I missed Sky off. Dang. We will go back and do it. I'm sorry. Okay, ICX. I'm going to look at ICX against Bitcoin because there was lots to like about this. Strong rally, 5 waves up as well in ICX, and then holding here at the 200-day moving average was all really positive for me. If I measure the swing from here to the lows, then the low here, ideally, you know, you're looking for a 38.2 retrace or 50%. Sometimes it's a 61.8, so we're right in the zone and kind of area where we would like to find support in ICX before we turn higher. Unfortunately, today, this candle is horrendous. So it may be that we come all the way back and retest the lows, and it might be that we squeak a little bit lower and we come all the way to the 50%. Below that 50% level, below 755, that's when I'm going to panic about being bullish in ICX. And I think sometimes, you know, with these 200-day, we just go underneath to squeeze, properly squeeze everyone out. But in every other way, I think we should see at least another swing higher in ICX after this pullback. One of the reasons I'm looking at this 50% level is when I look on the daily here at how we tried to rally, that 50% was where we stalled. And markets that kind of tend to, that mean revert, like go back to 50%, tend to kind of keep mean reverting. So 878, that 50% says, you know, maybe we're going to squidge a bit lower to that 50% going the other way. So that's what I'm looking for in ION. Bigger picture, I'm looking for a buy to another leg higher. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at, DBC. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. I can't remember where I had that chart ready. Never mind. We'll just do it. DBC. Okay. Wow, look at this. So if we say our support and resistance that we need to overcome is this this low here and these highs. I'm doing it wrong. 1 second. Here we go. So you see this swing low and this swing high. That's where our resistance is, and our support is at the next support and resistance level down here, which really is a bit lower because it comes from here, isn't it? That's that closing rise there. So resistance, support, and this 200 days. So this made a pretty good base here. I think that there's quite a good chance that we find support and we turn higher from here. The problem is we haven't kind of reset, the oscillator is going to come all the way back and needs to turn higher again. So this is kind of one of those really, I think, timing things, not quite ready yet, but a really good level to see support and bounce from in terms of daily horizontal support and resistance. So I'd be looking for some green. We've got quite oversold on the 4-hour. Maybe we can turn up a bit higher from here and see. We're going to retest these highs, and then, very often when you get a pattern like this, what you get is a kind of a bigger, if we hold the support, what we'll get is we'll get a bigger inverted kind of head and shoulders pattern. So you get a similar size right shoulder to the left shoulder, hopefully, if this works out. If we go back below this support, or another way to say it is if we retrace more than 50%, you know what, we're probably not really, between 50 and 61.8, we're not really still in an uptrend and we should give up on it. So that would be 5,086. If we close below 5,086, I would say, yeah, time to say it's doing more than that. So, hi Kate. No, I'll take a look at OMG. Okay, I just Raven, ICX, DBC, AION, then and then link. Yeah, am I doing it right? AION and then link. Okay, good. AION. Okay, so the problem, so AION. So we talked about that rule, mean reverting markets tend to keep mean reverting. So we rallied to 50% of this high to this low. So now we should look for 50% back on the pullback. Okay. We came back to 50%. So guess what happens then, okay? Now we look for 50% on this rally, and that's what we can't close above, 359. And so now here, 50% in the middle of this way is probably where our support is. So what we're getting into, we're going 50% back, and a tighter and tighter range in this AION until we break out one way or another. So we can say now, one way or another, if we break out to the upside, that's it. We've broken the 50% retrace pattern and we're in a new leg higher. And if we go down more than 50% of this rally or the previous low where we stopped down here, or this 200 moving average, that actually we're still bearish and we're going to see another leg lower and potentially new lows. And whilst we're in between, you know what, flip a coin. Because I actually kind of really don't know I don't know. But we might go lower before we go higher. That's the thing, okay? Because I think ultimately we are owed another leg higher, okay? So this was our first leg. We are owed another leg higher like this. So I'm going to do it like this. For sure. The problem is, are we going to rally from here and we go back to these highs and the 200 moving average? That would be perfect. Or are we going to see another swing lower? So A, B, C before we do it, and we don't quite go so high. We only kind of rally back to these highs or something like that. I don't know. Gun to my head, I'm going to say I think because of this bullish cross of the daily moving averages, we probably already seen the high and we should just wait for it to break out. So AION, I am actually quite, I would say more likely we've seen the low. This is just a pullback and then we'll see another leg higher, and we're looking for 445. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is Link. Chain link. Okay. When Link goes, it really does behave very nicely. It's one of my more favourite ones. It's just taking its time making a bit of a base. So here we are on a daily chart. Okay, so this is, I don't know how to explain this. Okay, when you put your fibs on corrections, so you put your fib on from high to low. I'm going to show you how I've done it here because it's not probably what you expect. Instead of putting it on this high to low here like this, I put it on this inside swing, because sometimes if this is an A, B, C, you should really put your fib retrace over the two like that. Now, if I put it on this way, okay, it gives me a higher target up here because I'm looking for a pullback and another push higher, basically. I think this is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm looking for another swing higher. So if I go for my bigger view target, it is 18668. But sometimes they stop short of my target, and I find that it's because this was this, and this is actually the new swing. So I'm going to say 1784, but it'll probably go to the higher one. So we're in an uptrend. We've pulled back to moving average support. I'm waiting for this to break higher and head to, hopefully, the higher target of 1868. I do really like Link. Now, let's zoom in and look at shorter term at this pullback that we just done, because like everything else, every time this 50% level has been the sticky level. Okay, that's what we haven't been able to get above, from this high to this low. So confirmation that we're on our way up again will be back above 13069. So yeah, it looks really strong. It's had a really good up day, but it won't have made a bottom until we get above 13069. And if I widen this neckline here, I'll take this away, look, then let's draw it like this. I think it looks like this. So here's our left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we should go up like that. So we've got an inverted head and shoulders pattern, I think. So good luck in Link. Look for that 50% level from the low to the high to break, and that will be our key, 13081. Close above that. Next one we're going to look at is OMG, and then QSP. Okay, so OMG. So you can see the level that we were looking at here in OMG from the lows back in December 2017. And when we rallied before in this downtrend, that was the high. So this is the previous swing high on the daily. This is the level that we really need to get above if we're going to reverse the daily trend. And so far we haven't managed it, but we've gone a little bit beyond it. And we're back here testing the level. I'm looking for this. If we're going to recover here, I would like to see this 200-day moving average be support. This just be a shallow pullback, and we turn back above this level. The level's 429. So if you're looking at this and you want to buy this, OMG, because you haven't got any yet, if you've got some, fine, hold on, because as long as it stays above the 200-day, you're laughing. If you're waiting to buy some, then back above this 429 level or this previous high, at 433, that will be our sign that we've done it. We're on our way up again. Yeah, so I love OMG. The first target is 804, which is a gazillion miles away. And there is some support and resistance levels where we might get bounced around before we get there. For example, here we can see one, double bottom, double top, and so on. So you're trying to buy back in to OMG. Be a little bit patient. Yeah, I think it's all set for it. You know, it is all set for it. Back above that level will be the really a really good key indicator that we're going up again. If Bitcoin carries on dumping to 3,500, does it invalidate all of these alts? To be quite honest, Omar, most of these alts that we've looked at tonight have either been, they're in a correction, well, let's look for support here, or buy it if it breaks above this level. Nothing, I really haven't seen anything tonight that makes me go, oh, buy it now, quick, it's going to go without me. I think everything is in a pullback. I just think that whereas, you know, Bitcoin's got quite a way to go, in these altcoins, we could get really nice entries and some really nice trades. So, broccoli face. I really do think that we're not that far away from a bottom in Bitcoin. The problem is, it looks like we've just started a correction in stock indexes. And previously, that's been a bit of a trigger. You know, at the start of the year, or 2018, start of 2018, stocks and Bitcoin fell together. And, you know, if Bitcoin was really, you know, if stocks falling got investment into Bitcoin, and it really was a good alternative asset, a lot more people would use it. But if it just goes and falls with stock indexes again, I think we're, you know, in a bit of trouble, unfortunately. But this next, you know, once this low is in, I think, you know, we're due to rally at least back to 10 or 12,000. So next swing, so to speak. I did not say, Dubravka said, I did not say about take profit on leg up in ICX. Okay, sorry. Okay, my mistake. Now, on this swing in ICX, okay, I'm going to, because this was a 50% level, wasn't it? So the next, that the back pattern, and that should be the 886. There it is. Okay, here we're going to look for a back pattern at 1350 is first target. 1350. Okay, and then I think we'll see a pullback from there. And then our next target, if we go beyond 1350, is 2,568. But for this swing, 1357 would be where I take profit. Okay, next. Now, don't be surprised as well in ICX. Okay, the pattern from this high says this is where we should go. But there is a level here where we could stall as well, and it would probably line up with, and let's see where it lines up with these previous highs. This here, that high there. So 1130. So 1130 might be trouble. So, you know, that means like this. Okay, so watch for 1130 and then 1357. Okay. Okay, so that's it. I think we've done it. QSP. I did ripple, pay Palm Dog. I did ripple at the beginning, quite near the beginning, like 4th or 5th coin in. And let's look for some QSP before I go. And the Daleks will tell me if I've missed something glaring. I probably have. So QSP. Now I think this is really pretty. Cup and handle, they would call this. Okay, because here's your cup and here's your handle. Okay, the other way to say this is it's probably from this high to the most recent swing lower is probably a 50% level. Very often works that way, it is. So here's our resistance at 567. Oh no, it's not 50%. It's nearly 50%. That's good. Okay, talking rubbish. Caught red-handed talking rubbish. Okay. So big deal resistance level at these previous highs. This is where people take profit. We've had one swing of correction lower and another one. So are we ready to, key question is, are we ready to turn up and go higher again after our pullback? A, B, C down. And look, this looks really good. I'm going to say probably not based on this. Whenever you see, like if we were going to start turning higher again, it would look like this, where we go up and then we have choppy overlapping pullbacks and then strong up moves. And instead, this has just been like a wallow. And so I think more likely we see one more lower. So that would mean this is the first. And then like this. So if we break support at 510 in QSP, look for 473 before we turn up again. Two supports. 510 and 473. Two supports. And then hopefully up we go again. And if we've done it right, they quite often line up with fib retrace levels. And they do, look at that. So 510 is this 382 fib. And if I've done this right, I doubt I have, but no, there you go. Somewhere between there. So 510, good support, let's see. Do I have time for LRC? Okay, theta and LRC, let's try. Okay, then I'm going to say no, call it a night. Do you know, so I bought this supplement, like a herbal supplement from Amazon. And it was 6 different kinds of mushroom. And it's all supposed to improve your brain power, your, you know, help your thinking or something. So I took it for the first time yesterday. And literally all night, my mind was going 100 miles an hour. I don't think I slept. It's like my brain was on electrified. So I didn't take any today, and hopefully I'm going to get some sleep. So, okay, LRC. Sorry, going completely off subject here. I think they were very good, but don't take them too late in the day. That was the lesson. Okay, this is loop ring. Now, loop ring. It's not really. I'd like to say, you know, especially with these bunched up moving averages, I'd really like to say that we're making a base here. I think we are. And in fact, if we say this was the previous, if this is a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, this where we are and bouncing off today is right where we would want to see a right shoulder and turn higher if we're going to make one of those pullback inverted head and shoulders patterns. So I think hopefully a good level to do it. I'm really hoping we've tagged this 786. In fact, we have tagged the 786 fib perfectly. So if we go back above the 618, the rules say that the fib level higher then becomes resistance when you reverse at one. So back above 1726 gives us an upside minimum target of 2,223, because that's the fib rules. When you reverse it to 786, you go at least to the 382, sometimes higher to the 236. So that's our target. So the meat in our sandwich, if you like, or the trade for us is between these two levels. If we break above 1726, we're looking for 2,223. Hi, reality believer. I did Raven a little while ago, like Kate, let's not go there. No, yesterday was just Chagga tea, and Chagga tea kept me up all night. So that's our trade. I'm hoping we turn higher from here. 200-day moving average and everything else. Okay, so gosh, quite a nice, let's look at this regular candle. Really nice spike off the low this last hour, wasn't it? It's not quite ready yet to buy, is it? It's not confirming we're going to go higher, but it's looking, let's see anyway. That's what I'd be looking for in loop ring. Do you know when I would buy it? Like for me, I use fibs as confirmation levels, okay? So if I put on the fib from this high to this low, see this red line from this high to this low, okay? And I'm going to mark the 236 fib. Okay. 1491. Okay, back above 1491 will say to me that this is a reversal. Is it 1491? No, 1488. So yeah, I think that this is a reversal now. So the next fib higher we're going to look for, okay, is this 382, 1534. And then the 50% and do it so on. We'll go leg by leg. Okay. Okay, all right then. I think I've done everything. Hope so. Oh, theta. Lol. Lol, I'm sorry. Let's look at theta before we go. Do you know, I think the biggest sign that we've made a bottom is when if you look at the total market cap for crypto. When the total market cap starts going up, we will have made a bottom because new money will be coming back in to crypto. At the moment, it's like bathwater sloshing around between the coins. Comes out of one coin and into another. Once we start everything rallying together, I think that things will be better. Do you know, I should really mention this chart. This is Bytes, G-Byte. It's a teeny little coin. If G-Byte gets above this 50% level here, that should fly too back to the highs as well. Very nice looking setup in G-Byte. Okay, theta, I'm on the wrong page. Oh look, POE is turning up. Well done, POA. I looked at REN, right? So, theta. Okay, so when we put our fibs on, and I'm going to zoom out and we're going to look at the daily. So we go from this most recent swing higher. We can see that we got really good reactions at each one of these levels in theta. So the 382 was resistance, the 50% was support, and then resistance. And so now that we're back here at this 618 level, we should see a rally from here. It should be support. How high will it rally? I'm not sure, to be honest. It might not go that far. If we stay in a downtrend and we take this most recent swing, we might only get sort of as far as around 28, 24, but we should, on this turn up higher from here, see a rally from here at back to resistance. So at a good level to bounce from, let's put it that way, in theta. Let's see if we can. And not just, you know, a good fib level, but a really good support and resistance level if we look left here as well. So not gone green on this 4 hour yet, but a really good place to look for it, to try and turn it around. Then, you know, if we do, because look how before we go back and forward between the fib levels, see we bounce from the 50 back to the 382. So from the 61.8, we would look, if we do get a reversal here, we're going to look for it to go back to this 50% level. Oh, why do I keep doing that? Something wrong with me. There we go. Okay. Here, 3197. And that'll be our bull bear line. If we get back above 3197, then we've reversed. If we don't and we roll over there, we're still in a downtrend. Okay. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Bitcoin pullback week again. Okay. Bye.